The important thing today is, if you read the Deuteronomy we've read today, and I'm just going to go straight into the scriptures. It starts from Deuteronomy 1, and if you first start to understand it, Numbers 33. Go to Numbers 33. Numbers 33 verse 1. Numbers. It says, these are the journeys of the children of Israel which went forth out of the land of Egypt with their armies under the hand of Moses. So that's the beginning of the journey, right? Verse 2 says, and Moses wrote their goings out according to their journeys by the commandments of the Lord. And these are the journeys according to their goings out. And in 3 it says, and they departed from Ramses. When you see Ramses in the Bible, that means Egypt, because the Egyptians are called Ramses. So they departed on the first month, on the 15th day of the first month. Numbers chapter 33 verse 3 is where I am. On the morrow after the Passover, the children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all Egyptians. Because after that, before that, the Egyptians had buried all their firstborn, which Lord had smitten among them upon their gods. Also, the Lord executed judgments. Now, in 34, they got to the borders of Canaan. Can you see? So, in 33, hallelujah, are you following me? In 33, they had moved by a few days. I like the heart. They had moved by a few days from Egypt, and in 34, they were at the borders of Canaan. And Canaan represents the land flowing with what? Milk and honey. Hallelujah. And if you read that 34, 1 and 2, it says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, command the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye come into the land of Canaan, this is the land that shall fall unto you for an inheritance, even the land of Canaan with the coasts thereof. Then your south quarter shall be from the wilderness of Zin, along by the coast of Edom, and your south border shall be the outmost coast of the sea outward. Hallelujah. Amen. Okay. Now, if you now go, and that's the journey. Now, if you now go to Deuteronomy verse 1 that we read. Chapter 1, verse 1. And it says, these be the words with Moses spake. So they already, can you see, they already started the journey from Ramses to Canaan. And within a few days, they were at the border of Canaan, right? And if you read that Deuteronomy 1, it says what? These be the words which Moses spake unto all. Can you unmute me? So it says, these be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side, Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran, Tophel, and Laban, and Ezroth, and Dizah. Number 2, it says, how many days? 11. There are 11 days journey. Horeb. You know what Horeb is? No. Horeb is Mount Sinai. Horeb is Mount Sinai. And this is by the way of Mount Seir. And whenever you see Kadesh Barnea, Numbers 13:26. Somebody read it for me. Numbers 13 verse 26. You understand what Kadesh Barnea is. Hello?
And they went.
27. Yeah, 1326.
Okay.
1326.
And they went and came to Moses.
And they went and came to Moses.
And to Aaron. And to all the congregation of the children.
And all the congregation of the children.
Of Israel. Unto the wilderness of Parish. To Kadesh.
To Kadesh.
And brought backward.
Yes.
To them.
Yes.
And unto all the congregation. And sealed them the fruit of the land.
Exactly. So see, Kadesh Barnea is the fruit of what? The land of Canaan. Do you see? So it takes how many days from Ramses over the top of the Mount Sinai? 11 days. So how many days did they finally do the journey? 40 years. So how did it go that something that should have taken them 11 days ended up taking 40 years? Hallelujah. This is the point. Now, the Lord, when the Lord talks to people, okay, we need to understand the words of the Lord. And these folks here, there are many things they were dealing with. One of the real big reasons why it's difficult for them to be able to make the journey from 11 days is not 11 years. It went for 40 years. Is understanding the words of the Lord. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Amen. You know, all of us in this world, we have a mindset. Hallelujah. Amen. We have a mindset. And some people's mindset is, it's me alone. I can do it. You know, they see people struggling, and they feel that those people who are struggling are stupid. When they get into the same struggle, then they see why those people who are struggling have not been able to overcome their struggle. But instead of them to believe that, oh my gosh, this power, these people lack power because they are stupid, it's because they need extra power from God to do it. Their mindset is micromanage. They are thinking in terms of 1 + 1 is 2. They are thinking in 2 + 2 because that's the way the human brain is made. That 1 + 1 will be, let me tell you, 2 + 2 could be 2,000. 5 + 5 could be 1 million. It doesn't matter. In the sight of God, He does unbelievable things. Hallelujah. Let's all sit down. I'll manage like this. The Lord does unbelievable things. And to Him, 2 + 2 can be 50. 10 + 10 can be 1,000. What is our mindset? And I want to expose to you the mindset of these people. They are so unbelievable. When you read what Moses went through in Numbers, it is astronomically painful. Hallelujah. Amen. Let's read. We're only going to read a bit of it. We can't read most of it because it would be. Now, God came down in that Deuteronomy and gave them the 10 commandments in 5. Hallelujah.
Exodus.
Deuteronomy. I'm just going to stay in Deuteronomy. 5. Yes.
Verse 1.
Yeah. Starting chapter verse 1. Verse 1.
And Moses called up Israel.
But before then, in Deuteronomy 4, chapter 32, he went out and killed all the kings that would bother them on the journey.
For us now.
Yes, for us now.
Of the days that are past.
Of the days that are past. Which were before thee. Since the day that God created man upon the earth, and asked from one side of the heaven unto the other,
any such thing.
Yes.
As this great thing is.
Yes.
Or has been paid.
Yes. He said, ask for anything from this side of heaven. And you know what? In 38, it drove out nations from before thee. Yes, right?
And mightier than to bring thee in. To give thee the land.
Yes, and to them it drove nations out. It defeated nations, right? And the only thing he wanted them to do, number 6 is what? Now,
keep there.
Yes, now 6:1.
6, okay.
6:1.
Now these are the commandments,
the statutes and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you.
That ye might do them.
Yes.
The land whiter. Ye go to possess it.
Yes. So he told them what they will have to do in those commandments. Hallelujah. But they are not happy even with him. They don't understand what this type of God can do for them. They don't trust him. They don't believe in him. I mean, they caused a lot of headache for Moses all along. Hallelujah.
Amen.
He just didn't understand what he can do to help them. He brought out a rod. The rod became a serpent. He captured Egypt with plague of frogs, with swarms of flies. He killed all the Egyptian camels just to show that this is the Lord. But even then, he invaded Egypt with a band of locusts. And I'm talking now from Exodus 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is what he did. And then he slayed all the firstborn of the Israelites. Hallelujah. He made them to cross the Red Sea. Can you see the wonders of the Red Sea in 13:7? Exodus 13:7. Exodus 13:7. 13:17. And it came to pass.
And it came to pass when Pharaoh had led the people go, and God led them not through the way of the land of Philistines.
Yes.
Although that was near.
That was near.
For God
has said,
lest
peradventure,
when they see war and they return to Egypt. But
and
God,
21.
And the Lord went before them.
And the Lord went before them.
By day in a pillar of cloud.
By day in a pillar of cloud.
To lead them the way.
And to lead them the way.
And by
night in a pillar of fire. To give them light.
To go by day.
To go by day. And by night. And the Lord said to them, this is what I need to do to help you. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Now, in 17, look at what happened in Exodus 17. This is why Moses could not go to, they didn't see. The Lord was very angry at Moses because of 17. Yes, 17:1.
And all the congregation of the children.
And all the congregation of children of Israel, they journeyed from the wilderness of sin.
And they journeyed. According to the commandment of the Lord. And preached in Rephidim.
And they pitched in Rephidim.
And there was no water.
Well, there was no water to drink. Okay? And what did they do?
Therefore, the people did chide.
Oh, you know what? They started to make fun of Moses. You and your stupid God. You brought us here to die. As if there's no water in Egypt. At least as we are struggling and suffering in Egypt, we still saw water to drink. What is your problem? Now you brought us to this stupid place. There's no water to drink. What, you want to kill us? You might as well kill us in Egypt, where we can at least die in our comfort zone. Yes. Number 2.
Therefore, the people did chide with Moses and said, give us water that we may drink. Just give us water.
We need to drink water. That's it.
And
yes.
And Moses said unto them, why chide ye with me?
Yes.
Wherefore do ye tempt the Lord? And people thirsted there for water. And the people murmured against Moses and said, Wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up?
You see the murmuring? You are in 3, right?
Yes.
So what are you reading King James? She's reading King James. And the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses and said, what did they say? Wherefore
is this that thou hast brought us out of Egypt?
What is wrong with you that you bring us out of Egypt?
To kill us.
You to kill us?
And our children.
And you will actually kill our children too.
And our cattle.
And you will kill our cattle as well. We're gonna die without water. And Moses said what?
And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, what shall I do unto these people? They be almost ready to stone me.
Yes.
And the Lord said unto Moses,
and the Lord said,
go on before the people.
And the Lord said unto Moses, go on before the people.
And take with thee of the elders of Israel.
And take with thee of the elders of Israel.
And thy rod.
Where you smotest the river. Take in thy hand. And go. 6. Behold, I will stand before thee upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, and shall the people may drink. And the people, and Moses did that. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called the name of the place Massa and Meribah, because of the cheating of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord.
Saying, is the Lord among us or not?
Yes.
Then came Amalek.
Yes. See, that was a big offense to the Lord, because the Lord says, touch it with the stick, and he wiped it right down, smite it, and water started to gush out. Who is the rock that we all stand on?
Jesus.
Who is the rock?
Jesus.
So proverbially, what he did there was, instead of touching and asking Jesus to bring water out, you know what? He smacked Jesus with that sword, with that stick, and that really made the Lord very angry. And because of that, they saw to it that Moses did not do what? He did not get to the promised land. Hallelujah. Amen. So these are the things. I just went on a chronicle of what these people have done. If you read 16:11, at the same time, Exodus 16:11, they were grumbling for what? Food.
And they said unto Moses.
And they said unto Moses,
because there were no bread in Egypt. Hast thou taken us away to die?
Are you again? Because there is no food in Egypt, right? Why would you bring us to this place to die? At least in Egypt we were struggling and we were slaves. But guess what? We still had food to eat. Okay? So, keep going.
Therefore, as thou did... Sorry?
Yes, 16:11. Are you 16:11?
Okay, yeah. Therefore, as thou didst thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt, is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians?
Yes.
But for it had been better for us.
Where are you? 16? You are 16:12?
Yes.
Okay, 16:13.
And Moses said unto people,
it's a small thing
fear you not,
that thou hast brought us. Exodus, Numbers. I'm so sorry. Numbers. I went back to Numbers. My fault. Now, 16:11. Numbers 16:11.
For which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron that ye murmur against him?
Yes. Keep going.
And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram,
yes,
son of Eliab, which said, we will not come up.
Yes.
Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of the land?
Yes.
That floweth with
With milk and honey to kill us.
wilderness?
So they gave him all forms of trouble on that way. All forms of trouble that is more than anybody can handle. A lot of troubles for him. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And in Exodus 16:11, hallelujah. In Exodus 16, go to that Exodus 16:3. Exodus 16:3. You know, it looks a lot scattered because I'm showing you some of the difficulties that us, human beings, we give. We give to God, we give to our leaders, we give everywhere we are. We are never satisfied. If God gives you one today, you want two. If He gives you three, you want four. There is no satisfaction in the heart of a man. Okay? So, Exodus 16:3.
And the children of Israel said,
And the children of Israel said unto them,
to God we had tried by the hand of the Lord.
now, it would to God, that is, if left to God, we had died in the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt. When we sat by the flesh pots, yes. And when we did eat bread to the full,
For ye have brought us.
he said, well, it's okay that even if we had been in Egypt, at least we would die, but at least we die with food. Right? At least they cause problems with water. Now they are saying, well, if you had left us in Egypt, we know we're going to die, but at least we die with food. Yes. For he had brought us forth into the wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Hallelujah. Yes. Number 4.
Then said the Lord unto Moses.
Then the Lord said unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you,
and the people shall go out,
a
certain rate every day,
and gather. He fed them every day meals of manna and quails from heaven. They shall gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove to them whether they walk in my law or not. 5. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as what they gather. So the Lord fed them. Hallelujah. So I'm trying to chronicle some of the problems that Moses had on the way. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Now, Proverbs 23 verse 7. What does it say? Proverbs 23 verse 7. Proverbs 23 verse 7.
For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, he says to you. But his heart is not with you. The morsel you have eaten, you will vomit up.
Yes.
And waste your pleasant words. Do not speak in the hearing of a fool.
Yes.
For he will despise
Your heart is, see their heart. Do you see? Their heart is not with God. They have a different mindset. A lot of people, they come to the church. Their mind is not with God. When your mind is not with God, there is very little in what you can achieve with God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Do you see? So it's all a mindset. Am I boring you guys?
No.
Because I'm doing this chronicling just to kind of get you into the league of what I'm trying to do. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So it's all your heart. It's all a mindset. Hallelujah. Amen. So, because of all these problems, a journey that should be 11 years, they caused catastrophe on the way. They disturbed concentration of Moses. They made life difficult for him. They asked him a lot of questions. Even with the powers of God that he promised is going to do wonderful things for them, he couldn't achieve that for them. They went round and round and round and round. Hallelujah. Amen. Now, you know what? Sin is the worst bondage. These people had left bondage in Egypt. But guess what? they were still in bondage. You know the bondage that is worst for a man? Self-bondage. When you have yourself locked up and nobody has locked you up. When you have your heart locked up and nobody has locked you up. You know, they had themselves in serious self-bondage. And they were free. Can you see how many people are in bondage right now in this country? Millions of people are in self-bondage. And you know what? Some leaders, they are milking that. They milk it every day. They saw people in bondage. They have the numbers. Hallelujah. They have the numbers. So what they did is, they went back to the numbers and said, so people will allow me to say all these nasty things, and they will be happy with it. And if the more I say it, it's like feeding red meat to the wolves. And what did they do? They kept feeding red meat to those people, and those people kept gulping down the red meat. And the story is very easy for us to understand where we are, the journey so far. Self-bondage is bad. It is complete polarization of your mind without you knowing. And before you know what is going on, you are acting in a different way. You have to ask yourself, what is your Canaan? What is your Egypt? Because if you have not asked yourself what your Canaan is, what your Egypt is, where are you going? Where are you coming from? What is holding you as a slave? What is enslaving your mind? See, the most important thing is the body can be enslaved. Who cares about the body? The body is completely useless. It will disintegrate after 70 years or so or less, depending on the way you've helped yourself. But the body is useless. You know what the problem is? Your mind. If your mind is pulverized, if your mind is enslaved, it is a total slavery that you can never get away from. These people, they were grumblings, insult upon insult, insult of murmurings every day. Even when it is so clear that the hand of the Lord is for them, they thought the hand of the Lord is against them. And they were quarreling every day. You know, deep inside them, they did not trust that the Lord can do what he was saying. They did not believe him. That is the main single thing why the Lord kept taking them from one place to the other, one place from the other, hoping that one day they will wake up and discover him as their God. You know what the Lord loves the most? The Lord loves dependency. He loves dependency. When you cry and say, Lord, take me as I am. Just take me. I have nothing to give you. I am worth nothing to you but a sinner. Just take me and do for me what I need. Just do it for me. When you crawl back like that, the Lord loves dependency. And these people never got that story. He inflicted Egypt with locusts. He smote all the firstborns. He did wonderful things for them. He made them to cross the Red Sea. You know, Moses brought up his rod, you know, and it became a serpent because all the other folks were also doing miracles. And he allowed Moses to do all that. But you know what? Yet they did not believe him. It was an 11-day journey. Do you believe in yourself? Because if you don't believe in yourself, 11 days journey is going to become 40 years for you. Because you have to have the belief that I can do it. With God, everything is possible. Even when you have not seen it, even when you have not received it, every day you have to believe that it's going to happen. Not even that is the beginning that is going to happen, but every day that is already happening. If you don't believe that, then you are in trouble. Do you believe in yourself? Even when things are bad and terribly upside down, you hold on to the cloak of the Lord and say, you know what? Even if I'm down, I'm up. You know, it's stupid to some educated people. When you say, even if I'm down, I'm up. They say, no, are you stupid? No, there's no stupidity in faith. There's no stupidity, because you have to bear it and say, yes, when I'm down, I am up, because I'm up in the Lord. Hallelujah. Are you enjoying the journey of your life?
Yes.
Because, you know, I see people, you know what? They go through life unhappy. And the unhappiness has nothing to do with what is going on. You got to enjoy it. These people never enjoyed the journey for a single day. Do you see? There are murmurings, there are grumblings, there are fighting, there's infighting, there is just everything going on. If you don't enjoy the journey of your life, there's no way you are going to get to Canaan. Hallelujah. 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 You know, I do not know how somebody can go 11 days and end up going 40 years, even if you have a stupid GPS. If your GPS is faulty and the battery died several days ago and you charged it, after parking and sleeping for 1 hour, you'll at least get there 3 hours later, right? Yeah. But with a bad GPS, hallelujah, 11 days, you have made it to get to 40 years. Let me tell you, even if you got the wrong exit, like I do all the time, I do all the wrong exit all the time, and I'm bouncing, I'm happy. When I do my wrong exit, I'm happy, because I know I can always do another exit and come back, and I keep going on my journey. Hallelujah. 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 How many exits have I missed in my life? I'm happy when I miss my exits. It doesn't matter. I tell people, don't worry, because the people who made the roads, they know you are going to miss exit. That's why they make a turnaround, right? So I make the road turn around with joy and happiness, and I keep going on my journey. It adds 5 minutes to my journey. Some people are crazy. They say, well, that's 3 more 5 minutes to your journey. I'm like, okay, I'm still going to get there. But it's not like 11 days for 40 years, for God's sake. If you miss all the exits from New York to Pennsylvania, you're still not going to get there from 11 days to 40 years, are you? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. A lot of us go through life without paying attention to our lives. Hallelujah. We have to pay attention to our lives, because if you don't pay attention to every day of your life, say, little things are important. Little things. Little things. If you don't pay attention to those little things, you are not going to get to do what? The big things. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And you know what? At the end of the day, when you give up and say, you know, I'm done with this nonsense, I'm just going to stay the way I am, at that time, you have completely failed. If you give up, then you are down. And those people, let me tell you, you know how many people, go back to that Exodus. Numbers, go to Numbers 9. Numbers 9, 34 to 36. 600,000 people left Egypt. And very few of them get to Canaan. Can you go back and read that?
It's not up to 34.
Numbers 9, 34 to 36.
No, Numbers doesn't get to that.
No, sorry, Numbers 14. Sorry, Exodus 12. Go do Exodus 12 first. Exodus 12, 37. Exodus 12, 37.
And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Sukkot, about 600,000.
About 600,000, yes.
Said children.
Uh-huh.
And the mixed multitude went up. Went up also with them.
Yes.
And flocks and elves, even very much cattle.
Yes. Out of those 600,000, you know, very few of them were able to get to the promised land. So it means in those 40 years, quite a huge amount of them died. Are you dying every day on your journey of life? Are you killing yourself every day? Because some people kill themselves little by little every day because of their disdain for the Lord, because they don't understand the Lord, because they don't know the Lord, because they don't care about the Lord. You know what? They only care about themselves. They only believe in us. And in some way, our upbringing is very faulty, because our upbringing gives power to us. This upbringing should not only give power to us, but it should also recognize the power of the Lord. Mm-hmm. Because if you go home and you say, I can't get this done, your parents will scream at you, why can't you get it done? But they should also give consideration to the fact that getting it done is not only you, but it's also from the Lord. And those are the statements that should come out from the mouth of parents to their kids when they are not able to get things done. For them to let the kids understand that not getting this done is not you alone. It is you plus God. And when God does not fail, you cannot fail. Keep on going with it. And that is not built in our DNA. Hallelujah. So these are the reasons why the Israelites, it took them so, they miss all their exits every day. All their exits. Now, as I'm talking, thinking about your life, think about how many exits that you have missed. All the opportunities that you've missed. Are you believing in yourself? Because if you're not believing in yourself, you're not going to get to the promised land. You have to believe in yourself plus X. It is not only yourself, but X. So you believe in yourself, but you believe in God first. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Are you paying attention? Mm-hmm. Are you giving up? What is your Egypt? What is your Canaan? You have to determine what your Egypt is and what your Canaan is. Hallelujah. Amen. Is your Egypt your marriage? Hallelujah. That is making life difficult for you. You can't move on. It is your salvation or the salvation of your children. It is bondage of illness. Hallelujah. Amen. Because if it's bondage of illness, God can do it. What does it say in 2 Corinthians 10:5? 2 Corinthians 10:5. The worst bondage is...
And every high... 2 Corinthians 10:5.
Yes, 10:5.
Every high mind thing.
Every what?
High mind thing that is raised up against the knowledge of God. Taking every thought captive to obey Christ. And we are ready to punish any disobedience once your obedience has been confirmed.
Yeah, I didn't understand that your 2 Corinthians 10:5. Yes. Yes. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ, and having in a readiness to revenge.
All disobedience. When our obedience is fulfilled.
Yes.
Do you look on things?
Yes.
After the outward appearance.
Yes. What this is saying is your imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against, but for you to bring into captivity every thought in your mind, every thought that is pushing you left, right, and center, capture all those thoughts and make them obedience to God. That's what it, because there are many things that drives us crazy. There are many anxiety-provoking things that drives us crazy. There are our thoughts that makes us become Lilliputian in the front of God. Because sometimes those thoughts run through our system and they make us little. What this is saying is that for us to capture all those thoughts and make them possible to the obedience of God. If you did that, then you are going to be in good shape. So you have to determine what is your Egypt. I might talk to you today. What is your Egypt? what is your Canaan? What are you running from? What are you running to? And why can't you get to Canaan? Is it sin? And there are many levels of sin. Hallelujah. The worst sin is the sin of self-bondage. When you are self in bondage, then you are in trouble. Because even if you see money on the streets, in bags and full of bags and bags and bags of it, your self-bondage, even if you took it, you won't know how to spend it. If somebody puts money in your account and says, take, use it, your self-bondage, you say, no, this money cannot be mine. Even if you know that this is even if you won a lotto, you won't know how to spend it. You've seen that before? He won a lotto of 50 million. He didn't know what to spend it. And you know what? The guy was in California and ended up getting people on the streets, and he was spending money haphazardly. And then somebody who knew that he was not upstairs right, moved in with him, ended up stealing the money and killing him. So would you say that person lost his life because of the lotto? Huh? No, he lost his life because of self-bondage. Because he didn't know he could win that, so much money. And when you feel you couldn't win it, you don't know how to use it. If you feel that the money belongs to you, you can win it, then you understand that, that haul of so much money, this is not for me. We have to get off from where we feel that this is too good for me. This mentality about this is too good for me. No, I'm too good for this thing, and it belongs to me, and I'm going to use it. That is the level that we have to be. Because if you feel that this is still too true to be me for the first 10 years, then you're going to snatch the money away and put it under the soil. Your story is going to be the story of the talent, of the man with the talent. What did he do? One talent gave talent away, and he didn't do nothing. And the one that had 2 made it 4. The one that had 5 made it 10. You have to believe in yourself. This is the truth. And you have to capture all those negative thoughts and make them to become obedience to the thought of Christ as being superior. When we did that, you have to determine what is your Canaan, what is your Egypt. Is it you or others? Is it your family? I have a policy. I say, those family that can't help me, and I feel they're against me, I don't deserve to know them. That's my policy. If you are my family, you call my family. I don't care what your blood relationship is with me. If you cannot help me, if you bring me down, if you make my life completely untenable, unrealistic, those family will continuously be ignored from now until Jesus Christ will come back. I will not return your calls because you are part of my problems. And I don't deserve to know. I don't deserve such in my life. If you cannot add to me, you know what you're doing? You're taking away from me. And if you're a family member, regardless of your relationship to me, if I think every day, I always will give you a long rope to pull. I give you a long rope to pull. And if I see that continuously, I'm dwindling and diminishing because of our relationship, guess what I will do? I will pull away from you. And when I pull away from you, you are part of my problem. I don't deserve that. I pull away from you forever. So, you have to determine what is your Canaan and what is your Egypt. Is it sin? Is it temptation? Is it poverty? Is it being unrealistic in your life, in your career, in your family? Is it not knowing God? Which is the last thing I want to talk about. Because of all this, of the sins, of the temptations, of bondage, of children's problem not knowing God, of children's problem not understanding what salvation is, with all that, of living a life utter disgust and distaste. Even when it's good, you're still unhappy. If those are your Canaan, not able to balance the checkbook, being frivolous with money, not knowing what to do with money. I always tell people, boom time is the time of caution. You know, I'm most sad when I have money. When I don't have money, I don't care. But when I have money, like if I wait in the house and I just win so much money, or I got so much money in my account, I'm tremulous. I'm tired, I'm fatigued, I'm scared, I'm worried. Suddenly I'm not able to sleep when I'm up. Because I know that boom time is a time of caution. Why? Because boom does not last forever. You know what lasts forever, that will make your money last forever, is sensitivity and caution. And planning. So if you can't put all those three things, sensitivity, caution, planning, if you can't put all those three elements into function, when you have boom time, you are going to be boomed in the end. That is why boom time is the time that I'm most worried. I'm not worried when I don't have. I'm more worried when I have. Because you know what? Money comes once. And it comes sparingly. When it comes, you had better know what you do with it. Because when it goes away, if you don't take care of it, it never comes back. And if it comes back in spotters. So when it comes, know what you do with it. Tie something good down that you can look back and say, yes, I did that. Make sure what you did can feed you when you don't have. Because one day you won't have. Because when money has number, it is useless. Any money that has a number is completely useless. I don't care what the number is. It could be billions, it could be trillions. You know why rich people never satisfied? They're never happy. Because the more money they have, the more mouths they feed. The more opportunities they don't have because they have money. A lot of people feel that when people are rich, they have more opportunities. No. When they are rich, they have less opportunities. They do. Because they are empty mouths that are ready to kill them with their mouth. And the more they have, the more mouths they feed, the less they keep. And that is why you have to come up with an implementation and a plan to survive the days that there will be no rain. Rain cannot come every day. So boom time is the time of caution. It's the time of trepidation, fear, and tremulousness. So you think about it. What is your Canaan? Canaan could be yourself. It could be your partner. It could be anything. It could be your children. It could be your friends. That makes it impossible for you to get to the promised land. Like I said, I have a policy. If you don't act to me, you don't need to stay with me. I don't need to be close to you. Because you what? Are part of my Egypt. Because if you take from me every day, you take from me, and it doesn't have to be money. It could be material, it could be economic, it could be spiritual. If I see you a spiritual threat, forget it. I will not have any dealing with you from now on till the day we're going to go to heaven. If I see 2 dreams, 3, 4, 5 dreams, that you are chasing me in my dream, that would be the end of our relationship. And you know, I live up to what I see. And what God tells me, I live up to it. And that will be a separation. And I will separate from you. You know? So you have to determine in life, what is your Canaan? What is your Egypt? And you have to determine, why can't you get to the promised land? You know, but most of the deal, the bigger deal, is the love of God. Hallelujah. Amen. A lot of people don't love God. And don't you think God knows who don't love him? He does. He does. And he gives to people who love him more. He gives them excellent life, prosperity. It gives them happiness and joy. You know what you cannot buy with money that I found that is so mysterious in this world? The joy of the Lord. When the Lord puts a joy in a union, you see these two people every day looking younger and younger. You see them thriving when they are not thriving. You see them running, and that they are running is like they are walking. You see their surrounding, they become leaders in that surrounding without lifting a hand. When there is joy in a union, you know what is joy in the union? Is Jesus Christ. And suddenly, when Jesus Christ departs from a union, then the people in the union go to the devil. That is why a lot of people, they ask me, they said, why is hate always so huge when love spoils? Because the devil crops into the place and turns hates. It turns love into hate. And it doesn't do it one for one. You know what it does? It does it 6 for 1. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Now, this is what I brought for you today. Confidence and hope is so important in you getting to the promised land. 1 Corinthians 10:11. Because if you don't have the confidence and hope that you're going to, then Hebrew 10:6. Hallelujah. Hebrew 10:6. Word of God, Parish, is this boring you? Because I know I'm going all over and all over and all over. If you don't have belief in yourself, you cannot be a good father. You cannot be a good husband. You cannot be a good wife. You cannot be a good sister. Confidence in yourself is so important. Breaking through. You know what? Us black people, you know why? What we have not done. Hallelujah, church. You know what we've not done? We have not broken the mentality of slavery.
Sure.
And it's a mistake to think that this is all imposed on us. Mistake. This is self-imposed. This is self-bondage. You know why? I was watching a TV and they were talking about people taking a knee. You know what? This guy, who is just like me and you, what came out of his mouth is worse than anybody that was in Uncle Tom's farm, in the 11th century. And it's just like me and you. But what came out from, I'm like, where did you find this guy? Where's this guy from? And there are many more people like that, who their mind is completely polarized. They never see themselves as better than being a slave. And there is an infection, they cause an infection all over the place around them. They never see themselves as clean, as a master. Their sentiments will be the sentiment of a slave from the day they were born to the day they die. Such people are still around, and God bless them. But see, we have to break away from this self-imposed slavery. Not only us break away, we have to break our children away from this self-imposed. Now, I always told my kids, I said, when I was down, white people put me up. When I was up, white people put me up even more. When I needed food, black people fed me. When I had no money, black people put money in my pockets. So who should I hate?
Shouldn't hate anybody, really.
Who should I hate?
Nobody.
Who should I hate?
Nobody.
I have no guts to hate anybody. Take everybody like you. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And see people in silhouettes. I see people in silhouettes as a projection. I don't see color. I've never seen color in this country. I see people for what they project. I see people through their soul. I don't see people through their faces at all. At all. And you know what? This has helped me in my life, carrying on from one day to the other. It shows clearly wherever I go. And until you do that, the self-imposed bondage will not be there. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Today is a talk to talk. We're talking heart to heart because we're talking about what is your Canaan, what is your Egypt. And the only way we can get to the promised land is through confidence and hope in 1 Corinthians 10. You read it for us?
10:11.
Yes.
Now these things happened to them.
Yes.
As examples.
As examples.
That they were written as warning to us.
And they are written as warning to us. Yes.
On whom the ends of the ages have come.
Uh-huh.
So whoever thinks he stands
uh-huh.
must be careful not to fail.
Be careful so that you don't fall.
No temptation has overtaken you.
There is no temptation that can overcome you.
Except what is common to humanity.
And this is common to man. So when you are standing, be careful not to fall. You know what? None of us know how to do it. None of us know how to do it. The story of this world, the journey of the world, none of us know how to. We haven't been here before and have experience. Because when you've gone through this journey, you are dead and you came back, you can teach people. You know, 100 years ago I was here, I died, and I came back, I have experience. Have you ever seen anybody like that?
No.
Who died 100 years ago and said, at 30 years, this is the mistake I made. When I died, I came back, I saw it's a mistake. I'm telling you guys, this is no longer a mistake. It was actually right. What I thought was a mistake was not a mistake. What I thought was wrong was actually right. Why? Because I lived in this planet for 100 years and I was buried and I was dead. Now I have experience. Nobody has experience. We are all trying. You know, the person that lifts us up is God. The person that knows how to do it. That people say, hey, this is a man. This is a good man. Is the person that is supported by God. The person that said, this is a good woman. I love this woman every day. I see unbelievable things in her. It is the somebody supported by God. Without the support of God, you cannot be a woman, you cannot be a man, you cannot be a living human being. So we are all trying. Nobody is good. Nobody can judge. Nobody knows what he's doing. But if you are confident and you are standing, be careful not to fall. Because nobody stands without God. Philippians 3:10 on a fast name, so that we can round this up. Philippians 3:10.
My goal is to know him. You
know the bigger deal that I reserve for the last? You know how many of us go through this life without knowing him? We really don't care about knowing him. We don't. How many people crack this Bible once in a week? How many people crack it twice a week? How many people crack it 3 times a week? Now, how many people remember what they read? How many people understand what they read? How many people practice what they read? See, that is a folly. You know, in Nigeria, there are well over 3 million Christians of a particular sect. And I've told you my dream. I suddenly saw a dream. I saw everybody climbing a ladder up to heaven. You can imagine the commotion caused by 3 million people trying to climb a ladder. One ladder, it goes into the sky. Seated on top of the ladder in sky is Jesus Christ. And we all saw it, and suddenly it was dark. It was at night at 2 a.m. And the bell rang, bang! And everybody woke up suddenly. And that night became as bright as day. And people were waking up in their slumber. You see people waking up from their beds and running to the streets, and they were running in the direction of the ladder. People were falling before they even got out of their bed. People were being stepped on before they even got onto the streets. People were jumping into the river to swim to get to the ladder. And when people got to the ladder, they climbed 3, 4, 5. The people behind them pulled them down because they wanted to step on the ladder. On the long run, only I could see climbing onto the Almighty people I can count 4, 5, 6, 10 people, and the dream went away. I only saw about 10 people were able to get there. Hallelujah. So, knowing the Lord is so important, because if you don't know Him, then you are in trouble. Because it is important to have a relationship with Him here. The relationship carries on over there. So it's a double relationship. If you have it, then you are very good. What does it say in that Philippians?
My goal is to know Him.
My goal is to know Him.
And the power of His resurrection.
Do you see? Do you know Him? And do you know the power of... Because without knowing the power of His resurrection, you are not even here. You are nobody.
And the
you are what? Still in bondage. You are not even in bondage, you are still in Egypt. Yes.
And the fellowship of His suffering.
Do you see this? Do you see how He chose His words? Can you see? Do you know Him? You know Him? Can you see? Read that again. Because there are specific
My
words.
goal is to know
My
Him.
goal is to know Him.
And the power of His resurrection.
The power of His resurrection.
And the fellowship
And
of
the
His suffering.
fellowship of His suffering.
Being
Yes.
conformed to His death.
And then being conformed to His death. Do you see?
Yes.
Philippians 4:3, I can do everything through God who made me. I can do everything. Because when you do that, when you know Philippians 3:10, then you can claim Philippians 4:13. What's that?
I'm
Philippians?
able to do all things.
I'm able to do everything
Through Him who strengthens me.
through Him. But you can't claim that unless you are aware of Philippians 3:10. That you know Him through the fellowship of His suffering, that you are conformed to His death, and you understand what resurrection is. Without knowing God, you are not even in Canaan. You can never get to Canaan. 11 days will be 41 years, will be 2,000 years. Hallelujah. You know what? The Israelites did not know God in a personal way. Asking how, it took them 40 years. You ask that question. Why? Because they didn't know God. It's not about sin alone. It's not about salvation alone. It's not about enjoying life. It's not about children. It's not about carols. It's not about life. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with knowing God in a personal way. What they never believed Him. They never believed Him. They never trusted Him. They never gave it to them. Gave it to Him. They never understand that knowing God is all about dependency. It's all about crawling. It's all about letting it go. Let Him be the driver. Let Him be the car. Let Him be the road. Let Him be you. They don't understand that. They put an idol. That many times they got earrings and chains and they begged Aaron to get it together, and he smote it to a cow, and they were worshiping it. They never knew God in a very personal way. Think about it. You can't have a wife and live 3 days with that wife if you don't know her in a very personal way. So what we're asking about is knowing God in a very personal way. That's deep, right? It's not in a superficial way. People are drunk. You don't even know God in a superficial way. Not to come and talk of knowing Him in a deep, personal way. When you know Him in a personal way, you know how He talks. You know how He behaves. You know how He listens. You know how He answers. You trust Him with every bit of your life. and you are completely dependent. You know, God loves it when you say, well, I failed, but God is going to let me pass. I give it up to him. Take easy and absolute control. Walk away. Walk away. Walk away. You see how he's going to keep it for you. When you give it up to him, it takes over from there. And he works wonders. The Israelites never knew him in that deep personal way. Hallelujah. God wanted them to know God, but they never know. Exodus 14:4. What does it say? He wanted them to know him. You know why? He tested them many times. If you look at their journey, I looked at the journey yesterday in the map. Their journey, they just went around in circles, in circles, in circles, in circles. The map, they just went around Canaan. Just round at the outskirts of Canaan. They never went into the center. They just went round and round. How many people of us are doing that? We're just going round and round and round our lives. Round and round and round. We've never entered the deep presence of our life. The real journey of our life we've not started. We're going around in circles. Why? Because you do that when you refuse to know God in a deep, personal way. Exodus 14:4.
And have we heard of Pharaoh?
Yes.
Pharaoh's heart. And he shall follow after them. And will be honor upon Pharaoh. And upon all his hosts.
Exodus 14:4.
I think you should start from 3.
14:3. Yeah, right?
For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land. The wilderness hath shut them in. And have we heard of Pharaoh's heart? And he shall follow after them. And I will be honor upon Pharaoh. Upon all his hosts. That the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord.
Yes. Do you see? He's even going to let, do you see? He says, I will be honored by Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know what? That what?
I am
That
the Lord.
I am the Lord.
And they did so.
That is your name.
You will never share your glory with anyone. You will never share your glory with anybody. Almighty God. Do you see? Do you see? Because he wanted the Israelites to know him. See, this battle here is not only for Pharaoh. It's also for the Israelites. When it says, and upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that what? I am the Lord. It's not saying that only for the Egyptians or for Pharaoh. As he's dealing with the Egyptians, he wants the Israelites also to know the same thing. To know what? That I am the Lord. And they failed. They failed in every way. Have you thought about many times in your life when you fail to know the Lord? When you fail to give the Lord the opportunity to be God. You know, a lot of us will fight with God to be God. Yes, we do. We do. I'm going to do it myself. I'm because we were taught by our wrong parents. It is wrong what we teach children. You do it. You can do it. You can do it alone. See that boy, he did it alone. See that one, he did it alone. It is wrong. We need to say, yes, you can do it with the help of the Lord. Our messages are wrong to our children. My dad taught me, he's rolling in his grave right now as I'm talking. I hope I don't see him in my dream tonight, chasing me. But he taught me to believe in myself. He taught me about economic emancipation, about self-emancipation. But there's no self-emancipation or economic emancipation without Christ. There's none. So we believe we can do it, and when we do that, we are struggling with God for God to be God. We need to allow God to be the only person that can sustain us. We give it to him as, you are the self-sustaining oracle of my life. Take easy and absolute control. When you say a prayer in difficulty to God, come and see how his hand will start to work for you. Will never work against you. The Israelites, they took 11 days. It's supposed to be 11 days, but they took 40 years because they never understood. It's a small lesson that you gotta allow God to what? To be God. When you micromanage, we are good micromanagers. I have people who have cleverly ordained when they are going to have children, when they're going to have bear children, when they're going to go to school, when they're going to graduate in, what they're going to do in their life, they even have it oracled up to the time they're going to die. Who has the control? God. He has absolute control. You got to give it to him. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It will never lead us to where his grace cannot provide for us. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. He will not do that. If we have to understand that we walk with God by faith, not by sight. Amen. When we always feel that we have to walk with God by faith, we are okay. And I think that is 2 Corinthians 5:7. That we walk with God by faith, not by sight. Mm-hmm. You can close your eyes and don't see and still walk in full extent with the Lord. Hallelujah. Amen. Now, Hebrew 11:6 is the one that I read yesterday. I was very happy when I read it. What does it say? Hebrew 11:6.
But without faith.
Without faith.
It is impossible to please him.
Do you see? It is impossible to please the Lord.
For he that cometh to God.
Huh?
For he that cometh to God.
Because if you come to the Lord,
God must believe that he is.
Yes.
And that he is the rewarder of them.
Do you see?
Diligently seek him.
Do you see? He wants us to diligently seek him. Do you see? Mm-hmm. And unless you diligently seek the Lord, which they never did. These people never did all through. Hallelujah. Amen. Their failure to believe in God's word. Their failure to believe that God alone can sustain them. Their failure to give it up to God. Their failure to surrender their lives to God made their Canaan dream impossible. And we, by now, should be searching inside us the story of our own independent lives. What is our Canaan? Why haven't we gotten to our Canaan? What is our Egypt? Why we are still being kept in Egypt? This is the word of the Lord, and the Lord will continue to bless you. I told you I'm going to come in and feed you today. I'm doing this many hours because I know next week and week after I'm feeding you to become a glutton today, so that you will not have any hunger in the next couple of weeks. The Lord will continue to bless you. This is the word of God. And for people listening to us from YouTube, when Word of God Parish here at 473 Milan Street, feel free to join us 10 o'clock every Sunday to worship the Lord.